I'm actually here in Quincy, Illinois, recording my first ever vlog entry, which is a word that I vow never to use again because it is, in fact, ridiculous. So, yes, again, here in Quincy, Illinois, working on the Generations Project, which is essentially a documentary where people learn about their ancestry in hopes of finding people that they can relate with so they can find strength to deal with challenges in their own lives from the experiences of these ancestors. I've been following this one woman in particular, my great 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 grandmother, and this journey began in Salt Lake City where I found one mention of her in a record that was actually dealing with my great 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 grandfather. Well, in this record, all it says is that he married her and that she died in 1836. There's no further mention of this woman. And me as a writer and as someone who cares to document history, it's just tragic to me that we have no other information about this woman's life. And so I felt like I was like on this quest, not only to learn about her so that I could gather strength, but also to leave her legacy, to give her something that could live on. So we ended up here in Quincy, Illinois for a various number of reasons. But so today I'm looking through the Quincy Historical Society's library, and I find another mention of her. And it says that she gave birth in 1836. Then it says that she died in 1836, but it also says that her husband filed a bill of divorcement in the same year. And so I'm looking at this, and it just doesn't match up for me very well. And so I keep pushing, and I do some research on the internet, and I end up finding this census report. Yes, I'm a genealogist, thank you. I look at census. But anyway, so censuses. Anyway, so I'm looking at the census report, and it's 1850, and I find this woman's name on the census report from 1850, and I'm thinking, and this is impossible. It can't possibly be the same woman. But after doing further research, we come to find out that it is, in fact, the same woman. And in 1850, she was alive and living here in Quincy. And so I'm like so confused. So I end up at the courthouse here in Quincy, and they take me down into this vault, this records vault. And my goodness, it was amazing. I'll share pictures with this post. But before I know it, I'm holding in my hands this bill of divorcement that was written in my great-great-great-grandfather's penmanship. And, I mean, it's just amazing to hold something in your hands that you know your great-great-great-grandfather wrote back in the 1800s. I mean, it was just kind of astonishing. But so I'm reading this, and it felt like getting punched in the stomach because here I've been following this woman's story, and I've been kind of, since the time I heard of the divorce, feeling like my great-great-great-grandfather was kind of a jerk. Like, here they'd had 7 children together, and then he decides that what he's just done. Like, it just was really maddening to me. But I start reading this bill of divorcement, and it's talking about how he can't even leave his children during the day to go to work because of how severely she treats them, how harshly she treats them. And just the cruelty is just out of control. And so he had to get the children out of there and had to leave. And so he files for divorce, and it was uncontested. And anyway, so here I am, this woman that I have just been seeking out and trying so hard to find. It just was really discouraging. So tomorrow I have found a woman who is an expert on this particular line of my family. She's done a lot of research, and I'm going to talk to her and see what gaps she might be able to fill in, because the last thing I read about my great-great-great-grandmother's life was actually very discouraging, almost even more discouraging than the divorce and the possible abuse. And I'll share more about that later. But anyway, this journey has been spectacular. I mean, it's crazy that I can look at a pedigree chart, for crying out loud, and feel this connection. And it's almost emotional for me to look at it and to see these names and to just feel like these people are a part of me. And it's really been very special for me thus far, despite the discouragement of today. Overall, it's been an amazing experience. So stay tuned for more. But thank you, just in general, for being a part of my life. I want you to know that I am genuinely grateful for your presence and that you make my world a better place. You really do, every single one of you, and I'm so grateful. So stay tuned, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow.